Hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, Ophiuchus, I thought we'd go ahead and do one live like this for you guys. Probably not going to use that big old deck at all. But Ophiuchus, because we've got obviously a change in backdrops, behind me on this side, we have kind of a nice doorway to the I don't know, like the forested area outdoors of the castle walls or outside of this courtyard. Um, it's a beautiful courtyard to be in, but what's outside? There is an open doorway. There is another opportunity, or there is something equally as wonderful, perhaps, out there. So let's just kind of keep that in mind as we start this storytelling. Okay, may even be time to think about a door opening, or think about another pathway, or think about other possibilities for life, other things that would be and uh, like easily attainable. And sure enough, we start out with the Seven of Cups. So Ophiuchus doesn't just have one door open to them. They actually are in a place where they have many, many different things that they could do or devote themselves to, or many different places they could potentially go. Hi, everybody. So nice to see you guys. We have a Ten of Swords. Oh, so we have a chapter of life that might be closing for Ophiuchus. And instead of them saying, oh my God, what am I going to do? They're saying, oh my God, what do I get to do next? This really lifts the energy of, look, this is a painful card any way we slice it, right? But why would we want to live in pain anyway? Why linger in a place where something just doesn't feel satisfying anymore? And in fact, staying only brings us grief. We have the Death card, which always brings a rebirth. And then we have this Four of Coins. Okay, so in this story, for at least a hot minute, we do have Ophiuchus going through the kind of like the transformation process. We see them saying, God, what's going to happen next? Okay, this thing is over, something is ended. All right, everything's changing, but I'm being rebirthed as well. But hold on, I don't know what to do next. The Four of Pentacles says a character wants to just kind of catch their breath. And what's so wrong with that? If especially when there's lots going on, when there's a major transformation, to me it's so understandable that a character would need to regroup before they just go, plunging forward into the great unknown. Rest assured, though, this character has many different possibilities of what they may want to do next. Let's say, for example, um, someone gets an eviction notice, right? Our character can't live there anymore because they're going to be tearing down that building that we used to live in. Well, number one, if that building was making us sick, we shouldn't be living in it anyway. So although it's awful to suddenly have to be uprooted, to stay would have been awful as well. The building's been condemned, it's unsafe. Those terrible things happen sometimes, but it'd be a lot better to be out of that building before it falls over with us in it. So on one hand, an ending is going to lead to some other, like, where do I go now? Where do I move to? What do I do next? It's like, well, first, let me just go couch surf on a friend's sofa for a little bit, or let me go to a hotel room for 4 days and let me just think about this, because there's a list of things. Where else might I want to live? Well, heck, maybe I haven't really liked my job lately either. Maybe I've been thinking about moving back to a whole different province or state or country that where I'm from originally. And if the place that I lived isn't an option anymore, maybe I should think big. Would I ever want to move back to the place I'm originally from? Gosh, you mean I could start life again completely? I could reinvent everything. Sometimes endings give us so much freedom that it's overwhelming. So again, it makes sense that a character needs to sit down and regroup. They may even need to sit down and look at their finances, but whatever is ending here, it is opening up so many doorways for Ophiuchus. Like, the entire world is at their fingertips now, even though that's not what it feels like initially. And just because the world is at your fingertips, you can't have the whole world all at once, right? So you're going to have to make good decisions. So our character sits down. Oh, this is nice. The moon is in the reverse and the Nine of Cups is upright. I always enjoy these Ophiuchus stories so much because they're so, like, I'm not an Ophiuchus, but I feel like I should be, because I always am like, yeah, that's totally how I would do it. This character sits down and says, okay, wait a minute. if the world is my oyster, instead of thinking about, oh my God, all this terrible stuff happened, something ended in my life, like, screw that. The ending is the ending. Now is the new beginning. What do I want next? Well, that's just it. What do I want deep down? It's not just about, I think I said this in a Pisces video last week. I think the title of it was, choosing the thing you want instead of the thing that simply is available. If our character can plunk down and maybe write out a list from their soul, like, what do I really want? What would my happiest life look like? Where would I live? Okay, maybe I want to live someplace green. Well, that immediately starts to if I got a map, I can look right at it and be like, areas that are green, okay, circle that. I would live somewhere in this whole region. We can start to narrow down what we want when we really think about deep down, what do I want? Not what will I tolerate, not what's a lateral move, what keeps me doing the exact same thing I've been doing, but rather, if I could have anything, because remember the death and rebirth card says we're rebuilding. We have a chance right now to change everything, to become something else, to upgrade our life, to upgrade anything and everything. And even if it's like, well, if I did move to a place that's green, maybe I'd have to live with family for a while. If I moved back to where I'm from and it was green there, okay, maybe I'd have to find another job. Yeah, well, there's jobs everywhere. Maybe, you mean I could move initially, go back to where I want to be, and then find a new job? Sure. I mean, our character could do that. Or they could do it in the reverse. Well, what I've really wanted was to go find a better job someplace else, get more green, get more money. That's what I care about. Okay, well, this is a good reason to say to our old job, the commute's too big because I've just moved house. And so thanks for your time. Thanks for having me. But I have changed jobs, that maybe our characters can start looking for a different career with more money. And they suddenly have permission to go after things that they want. That's what change does for characters. It opens up possibilities, but those possibilities are useless unless our character sits down and uses that opportunity wisely by saying, what do I actually want? I get a chance to change stuff. Let's make it count. Let's change for the better. Let's go after something that's really what's at the top of my list that would make me happy. Location, career, like what things do I need to do differently in my life to have the happiest, my happiness quota needs to go up. That's what our character gets to start looking at. We have Five of Pentacles, we have Hanged Man, and then we also have the High Priestess in the reverse. This is long overdue, and our character knows it. They have actually been drifting away from this for a long time. The reason something is really coming to a full ending is because they were only hanging on by a thread anyway. Our character has not wanted this thing for a very long time. Maybe it's a relationship, whatever it was so overdue, so time for a change. But our character didn't know how to like cut cut the ties, and yet it's happening. That's really great. They know it too. This is happening for them. Hey, hallelujah. I'll explain a little bit about Ophiuchus at the very end of this, okay? Three of Wands and Prince of Swords. What does my future look like? It's going to be a more exciting future for sure for Ophiuchus. We have Loki, god of chaos, bombing in on his peregrine falcon. It's wild good times. It's exciting. Sometimes we go from this slow moving, lingering, slow burn, painful energy of detaching slowly. We don't really love what's going on. We don't know how to quit it. We don't know how to say goodbye to it. And then one day it just freaking happens. And instead of getting rattled, I think our character is going to say, oh, I can breathe. I can't believe this. It finally happened for me. I get to look into my future, and I maybe have a greater sense of freedom than I've had in many, many years. I think we got a pretty jazzy, pretty happy character after all, even though it started out a little bit wobbly. What's our Seven of Swords about? There's something here. This is a kind of an immature energy. Now we're coming up to eclipse season, right? So we've got the lunar eclipse on the 25th, and then we've got a solar eclipse coming up in the beginning of April. So, with that in mind, this could be around the eclipse time. There could be a reveal of something that was untruthful. There, we could even have Ophiuchus find out that there was a little gremlin somewhere in the works. Sometimes we don't realize how bad something was until we're gone, and then we find out, wait a minute, you mean all that time that I was dissatisfied, it was because of this gremlin? That was possible. Got a Seven of Wands? Well, there's definitely blockages. You know what? Even sevens are numbers of change, they're also divine numbers. It's where the earth meets the skies, where two vastly different things actually meet. It's maybe where truth and fakeness meet. It's maybe where struggle and peace meet. There was a blockage. I don't know if, and this doesn't matter, honestly, if someone was being unfair toward Ophiuchus. It's going to be a moot point, but it will be something that Ophiuchus finds out after they've already made these big changes in their life, which are changes that they wanted to make for a long time. But it does look like somebody was blocking Ophiuchus's success. Now, sometimes even negative things or rotten little gremlin people who do mean things, sometimes they serve a little bit of a good purpose because they blocked Ophiuchus from some kind of maybe progression or success. However, that wasn't the right path for Ophiuchus anyway. They could have stayed for a very long time doing something that maybe deep down they didn't want that to be their story of their life. So bizarrely, because remember this is a card of change or a number of change, but also a divine number. Sometimes good things happen because of bad situations. And I have to say, I think Ophiuchus in retrospect is going to find some things out after they're already settling into their new life. They may find out some little scandalous trash, and it's going to be like, oh, that, seriously? That's part of why I was so unhappy. Yeah, but it's all right. It was the final shove that got Ophiuchus's energy moving towards something so much better, so much hotter. We got a King of Pentacles here. This could represent a much better career path. We got a King of Wands. The reason I said something much hotter is because this could be possibly a romantic partner for Ophiuchus. Definitely fiery, he's definitely passionate. Maybe they're going to move someplace where there's a lot more sunshine, a lot more beach bodies strutting their stuff. And we got the Ace of Swords. The This is the tree of life right behind that Ace of Swords. And we have runes all over, and we have the messengers on either side of the Ace of Swords. So basically, it's going to become crystal clear. Ophiuchus will know without a doubt, of course, I was supposed to change this thing in my life. My life's journey. I mean, I saw signs and signals all around. Maybe I was not sleeping good because I was always stressed out before. Maybe I couldn't stand my coworkers. Turns out maybe they couldn't stand me also. Maybe there was a lot of reasons, a lot of signs and symbols that said, this is not, I'm not on the path that I want to be on. I don't like the work I'm doing, or I don't enjoy the people I'm working with. Maybe I love my career path, but I just don't like this environment because it's just not right for me. Maybe it's because I'm actually supposed to be giving my talents and my cooperative energy to a different group of like minded people. But I got to go maybe move on and find those people. It's going to become very clear why all of this happened. And it'll probably click because things are moving in such a more positive direction, right? Doesn't mean people have to be awful and that's the motive to leave stuff behind. But when something's not working, when there's not significant happiness, maybe that's a good indicator that either there's a reason that we're not satisfied anymore, or we're just in the wrong place for our talents and our, like our life purpose. And what's lovely is sometimes it takes very small adjustments to put everything back on track, and sometimes it's big changes. But regardless, this is like, this character, as always, these are fictional stories about fictional characters, but for this fictional Ophiuchus, man, things are working out beautifully, and they know darn well that all of these changes needed to occur. It's definitely like a fresh opportunity at life. So really nice. All right, you guys. So hallelujah. The thing about Ophiuchus is the 13th zodiac. So when the sun does its transit through the different zodiac signs, it actually doesn't just go through 12, it goes through 13. And in fact, I think I read somewhere that it actually remains in the zodiac of Ophiuchus, or the constellation of Ophiuchus, a little bit longer even than it does in Scorpio. Um, but for whatever reason, we don't usually use Ophiuchus as the 13th zodiac, although why would we not, right? It makes really good sense. Ophiuchus is also, you look up the constellation, it's like the only one that is split in half. And it's kind of an interesting constellation and constellation story as a whole. But yeah, so it's just, if you look at the placement of the zodiacs in the night sky, or the constellations in the night sky, you will notice that there's actually 12. Well, there's 13, not just the 12 that we're familiar with that the sun transits through. So that's why, at the bequest of someone who watches the Ophiuchus, I had someone, Delinda. If you ever see Delinda here in the comment section, thank her, because she's the reason I do Ophiuchus. She had asked me to a long time ago, and it took me like probably 6 or 7 months before I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to do the 13th zodiac. So anyway, that's why I do it. It was specifically because Delinda asked me to at the beginning, and I was like, yeah, why would I not? So anyway, you guys, thank you. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye.